Your intervention now, tomorrow, the day after, and many years to come. Kenya has gotten some positive things coming its way. The new constitution is in place. We all voted for it. You are looking for something. You are now represented in the context that you'll be able to vote. But that should not be an end in itself. I think you are voting for the new constitution. You lobbied your relatives out there to vote for the new constitution because you wanted more. Now, what are the challenges we face? First, we have to get rid of polarization in our society. We are too polarized to put our energies in the right place. Can we get rid of that? Yes, we can. And I want to offer that opportunity. I was at the center of the whole process of renegotiating a peace package. And I can tell you, it was embarrassing that we were out there, a country that had been independent for so many years, to get Kofi Annan, to get Mkapa from Tanzania, and to get Gracia Machel to come and say, you people, you can sit together, you can work together. That should never happen again in our country. That should never happen again. If these people come, we would be happier if they came as tourists, so that they can relax in our soil. But not to come and tell us how to live together. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to offer you an opportunity of somebody who is acceptable across the board, somebody who has always championed their politics on a national platform. I've never been tribalistic in my outlook in all the years that I've been in politics. And they're not few, 20 plus. I entered politics at the age of 29. A few days ago, I became 52. My profile perhaps is in the document there, but I have been a minister for supplies and marketing. I have been a minister for finance for 5 years, exactly at the age of 33. I have been a minister for transport. I have been a minister for agriculture. I have been a minister for local government. I have been a deputy prime minister, and I've been a vice president, although for 2 months. So, in terms of having that broad experience about government and about the functioning of governments, I have seen successes and I've also seen failures. So we can work together in making Kenya a better place, and that is why I offer myself to you. I want to be able to sustain a coherent state, to be able to sustain unity, to be able to reconcile fellows. I do not want to be a leader that you shall fear. I want a leader that you will respect, and a leader that you can criticize and correct in case there's a slippage. That is what we want. And I want to assure you that with the team that I'm working with, if anything about company tells you something about the individual that you're looking at, then you're seeing for yourself. I want to have an inclusive government that embraces everybody and that will work and be focused. Let me not say that everything will be rosy. We are going to have challenges of the economy. They're very serious. Right now, we've just come out of a crisis of the teachers who went on strike. It has not been easy, and it's not going to be easy because the doctors were lined up. We have the security agencies are lined up and all this. Now, these are very serious issues. But if I were just to give some direct figures, not too many, but just a little, the wage bill, the public wage bill, as a percentage of GDP, stands at about 10% of GDP in Kenya today. That is about 390 billion Kenya shillings annually. Now, if everything that the people who feel that they're not being remunerated adequately have got to be remunerated, then you'll be bringing that weight bill to about 490 billion Kenya shillings on an annual basis. That would then come to about 13 to 14% of GDP. When Parliament set its targets for the budgetary process under the medium-term Finance Management Act, they set certain targets in there. And those targets require that the wage bill should be, that is the public wage bill, should be close to 6.5% of GDP, which is the broad average for countries with a similar kind of economy. Now, if you look at it that way, then you will realize that we have major challenges to create employment, yet at the same time make sure that we maintain proper fiscal policies that will not seriously undermine the need to create jobs. And that is where our major problem lies. We have to create jobs in the Kenyan economy. It is a serious crisis. The demographics have put a situation where unless we create jobs, we shall have difficulty in dealing with insecurity. We shall have a lot of difficulty in dealing with other issues. We want to have good health care for our people, but who's going to pay for that health care if there are no people contributing through ordinary revenues? How far can we tax our people? Right now we are taxing at a certain level, which is seen as being very high. So if we have to meet all these expenditures, then I would want to tell you in the diaspora, you Kenyans who are here, then now start looking at us and figure out whether we are making responsible commitments and pledges, or whether we just want to win the votes. I want both. I want your votes, no doubt about it. But I also want to be able to offer you responsible leadership. And I think this is what we need to start looking for. Because a lot of commitments, a lot of pledges are going to be made by the politicians in terms of what they are going to deliver, what they will deliver, how they'll do, but very few are talking of how they are going to fund that process. And I think that is where you and I must now start looking and analyzing us critically. There must be a difference between populism and popular. I want to be popular, but I do not want to be populist. And this is where you and I must now start making those serious decisions. So in the diaspora, look at the Constitution carefully. Let's look at it, let us understand it. The pastor who made some comments said that perhaps it has taken long for people to read on it. Read it and reflect on it afresh. Because there are certain things. For instance, you are allowed to vote. We want to engage you. But there are certain limitations. If the lawyer sitting on this table were to tell you the truth, like Nyamoya there is a lawyer, he'll also tell you that although you're in the diaspora, although you'll vote, but when it comes to becoming an ambassador, you cannot become an ambassador because it's in the Constitution with dual citizenship. I cannot become a president with dual citizenship because I can only owe allegiance to one state when you're in that situation. Now, these are the harsh realities that we must wake up to, which are embedded in our Constitution. But that does not mean that you cannot take up other assignments. That does not mean that you cannot help us in many other ways. Investment vehicles that you can create. You have an opportunity to create major investment vehicles. You have an opportunity to bring the guys who are going to build that Lamu port, which is a big, big investment proposal in terms of infrastructure, 50 billion won. The government of Kenya cannot do it. They're capable of doing it. So I am offering my candidature to you so that we can partner and be able to change the lives of our Kenyans for the better. Bearing in mind it's a transition, not just from President Kibaki's government to another government, Musalia's government, but actually a transition from the old constitution to the new constitution. Because remember, this is going to be the first general election under a new constitution. This is the first time you're going to elect a governor. This is the first time you're going to have a devolved government system. This is the first time you're going to literally have resource allocation going out based on this new system. It's not a bed of roses. Parliament can impeach the president. Parliament can impeach, or the Senate now can impeach the governors as well. And members of Parliament can be recalled. And Justice Mutunga and what he is doing in the courts, the justice system is also becoming more effective. Police reforms are now beginning to go underway. We have the police commission that has now been constituted. People still rush to court here and there, but it's more or less in place. We have the oversight authority, which will now enable an independent process to take place if the police exceed their powers and breach the law. We now have an opportunity and a vehicle where people can go and raise concerns. Parliament can no longer set its own salaries. We can't. It's history. The Salaries and Remuneration Commission is in place. So anybody who is a public officer will now be subjected to that process. Now, all these things require commitment to implement that new constitution. It requires